this is Sherry. I am just going to give you a quick little demonstration of how I do this antique shading on this particular quilt that I'm working on. As you can see, it's already been quilted. Kind of take you around a little bit, and the design has already been base painted with my dry pigment paints. I haven't done the highlighting or the outlining yet because I am working on this antiquing. So I'm using Derwent InkTense pencils, and I'm using my my Paint Fusion textile medium that is mixed with a little bit of shimmer gold, dry pigment paint, and I'm just going to show you how I do this. So I've already started working on this area over here, and again I'm using the Derwent InkTense. It's a little blurry, but this is the darker shade. Let me try and take this back a little bit, called Willow. And since I'm doing an antiquing and kind of a shadow, trying to get a shadowing effect, I'll just kind of rub in this darker shade, which again is the Willow, and just give it a little rub. The harder you press, the more pigment it's going to lay down, and these Derwent InkTense pencils are moisture activated. So once you get the base color laid down, then you activate it with moisture. And since I'm working on fabric, I am using a textile medium that I developed. Again, I think I already said I call it Paint Fusion. Okay, so I'm just going to try and lay this down real quick so I can show you the next step. A little bit more to do, and I'm just kind of feathering out the darker color a little bit so that I can kind of get that antique-y, shadowy kind of look behind these base feathers that I've drawn in. Now I'm just going to pick up the next shade, which I'm using is, let's see if I take it over here, is, you can't read that very well, but this is a shade called Mustard, color number, what does that say, 1700. Okay, so now I want to lay down this color, and I'm just going to kind of lay this pencil down on its side so that I can get the most color out of the pigment here. I don't want streaks, I want blending, okay? So Derwent is making these InkTense blocks now that are not in a wood pencil. I'm currently waiting for my product to arrive, so it will actually make this step a little easier, I think, with more color, more area to color, instead of in the pencil form. But nonetheless, this is how I've worked this entire piece. And I'm just laying down color. I'm kind of staying away from the darker color that I laid down, but it doesn't matter if I go over it. So let me just lay some of this down, and sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Maybe if I hold this up here like this a little bit. As usual, I'm filming myself with my iPhone, so you know, I have to try and look at the screen and then look at what I'm doing, so that I'm not filming something that I'm not actually doing. Okay, so there, I'm pretty happy with that. Just laying down some pigment. Okay, And then I'm going to go back over here to my little tray that I'm working from, and I'm going to pick up my fabric brush, and this is an angle brush or shader, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to dip my brush into my paint fusion that is mixed with a little bit of shimmer gold, and you'll see that once I touch the brush to the InkTense colored pencils, you'll just see all the magic happen with that pigment that I laid down. See that? Isn't that pretty? So off camera, I'm just kind of moisturizing my fabric paintbrush and just activating the pigment with the paint fusion. So you can see how that happens. It's quite magical, and the effect is exactly as I want it. Now, the angle brush is kind of nice because you can kind of get in those little crevices and cleavages of these rounded areas that are behind these copper circles. This particular design, this quilt design that I'm working on, is a design by Judy Woodworth, and it was digitized by my digitizer Jessica Schick. It was quilted on my Anova robotic quilting system, and then I did this teeny tiny little stippling behind here, and it's going to be quite stunning when it's done. So, but my whole purpose here was just to give a quick demonstration how I go about doing the actual shading. So you can see over here a little closer up how that's done. And then when all this background color is done, I'll go in with a black pen and outline all this area over here. And then I'll do some highlighting and some shadowing on the rest of the quilt. And it'll be quite lovely. So keep checking back and watch the progress of this. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed my little demonstration, and have fun. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.